Hi, in today's video, I'd like to show you how you can set up a game such as this one that includes game pieces, a game board, and some dice and some instructions for your students, and then show you how you can break them out into small groups and have them play against each other using Whiteboard.chat. So this game is actually from an interaction that my wife and I were having the other day, and she said, how could I take this game and make it so that I can play with the kids interactively, as we are 100% remote learning in the school that we're in. And so what we did was we took a couple of screenshots of the game board and we saved those as JPEGs. So step number one is to get your assets, your raw materials, if you will, and save those as JPEGs onto your computer. So you need the game board and you need whatever other instructions that you might have. When we came back over here to Whiteboard.chat with a blank page, we wanted to put the game board in first. So you would go to Add Media. You would go to Upload File, click from Computer, and go and find the JPEG, and then add that to the board. If the JPEG is too large or too small, when you first get it on the board, you can either go to the Move and Resize over here on the left-hand toolbar, or you can go to Select. Both of those would allow you to make the PDF larger or smaller. So I would like to keep it right about here so that it takes up pretty much the whole page there. And then same thing, we went and grabbed the JPEG for the instructions for the dice. So step number 3 was we wanted to put instructions over here on the right-hand side. So there are many ways that you can add text to the page within Whiteboard.chat. We chose to use it as a rich text box. So I went to the toolbar over here on the left-hand side, and I clicked on rich text and created the bar over here, and we typed in the instructions. One key thing that you want to keep in mind is within the rich text box, you do have the ability to change the text and bold and things like centering, etc. So if I click here, you can see that I have all of the same tools that I might have for example, within Google Docs or Microsoft Word. And so it does give you a little bit more flexibility to create a paragraph or a set of text like this. There are other ways to create text in Whiteboard.chat that might be a little bit less flexible for lots of lines of text like this. So we've got those pieces set up, and then we needed to come up with some type of game pieces. So we chose to go to the manipulatives palette. When you click on this picture of a palette in the top of the page, you can move the palette around by clicking on this little handle here. And there are a couple of different categories here that you could have gone with. There is a game category, which mimics a lot of games such as chess or puzzle pieces. We chose to go to the manipulatives tab, I believe, and searched for some shapes like this. So it's up to you. You can choose whatever it is that you would like to be able to move around. So if I wanted this red circle, wherever I click the mouse, then it's going to create an instance of that manipulative on the board. An important part that you want to do after the piece is on the board is you want to either choose the select tool or right click on it, and you want to make sure that it says down here that the students can move, because otherwise these game pieces might be stuck on the back of the page. So go ahead and check off students can move. By the way, I forgot to say back here, after you have the game pieces in place, go ahead and right click on those or select the select tool and click on set background. And that way it's not something that the students will inadvertently click or move around. So you want these things in the center to not move around, but you want to make sure that you have the game pieces able to move. Then we needed to create the dice. So the die. Click on Tools and churn. It usually would say, if there were no dice on the board, it would say Show Dice. And initially it comes up as 1 die, and we wanted 2 die because we have 2 different things that we want to happen. We want the first die to have to do with how many spaces the students are going to move. And then the second die has to do with down here, they would have to choose the subject. So with all of those things in place, we've got it pretty well set up that we can actually then start to play the game with the students. So I have gone to the top right hand corner and I clicked on invite and I copied this URL down here at the bottom. There are a couple of other ways to get students into the board, but I chose to do the copy this and then I pasted it in, and I'll show you that here in a second. Notice up here, I have my headshot here in terms of me being a participant, and then you can see that I have these 3 other students. So once the students are on the board, I went down here and I wanted to create a group board for those students to be able to play together. And notice here that it says groups and I have game 1. And I've added these 3 students. When you click on game board here, you can name the board and you can choose the students and you can put them on the board. So if I had a class of say, 22 kids and I want 4 people to play together, after they have joined the board up here, after they've signed in, then you can go to your icon here and create the game board and assign them to the different boards. All right, so I think I've got it set up so that I can show you what this looks like in person. There we go. So here's the teacher board down here. Each of the student boards are here. So if it's this student's turn up here in the top left-hand corner, I'm going to roll the dice. And I have a 6 and I have a 5. Notice that it rolls the dice on all of the students' boards. And I'm going to be the purple piece here. So I need to move 6. And 6 isn't going to be in the window, so I'm just going to go to the 4th one so that you can see what we're doing. And the verb is manger, and I have 5 for the subject, so I need to do vous mangez. And if you're doing this class live, it's going to be impossible for you to listen to all the students. If you did this as a breakout room in Google Meet or in Zoom, then the students would be able to hear each other and they would have to self-correct to say if that was correct, if they've got this correct. One other option that I thought of as I was planning this particular video is if I go back to the teacher board here, you can open up a chat window for this particular, right now I only have 3 students, so this would work. I don't know how this would work with 22, we'd have to test that out. But I created a chat, and so what that allows them to do for this student to say, okay, I need to type in vous mangez. And I got it right, and you can see here that that chat goes on each of the students' boards as well as the teacher's board. So I would be able to say, yes, you got that correct, and now it's the next student's turn to move on. So lots of different ways that you can, make this happen in terms of, how many games can you all think of? How many old PDFs that you have lying around from back when we were in face-to-face? And how can you manipulate those games here in Whiteboard.chat to make it an interactive small group experience? Hopefully this helps you out a little bit with that. And I look forward to seeing some of the games that you all produce and share with your students. Have a great day.